Patrick Hooker, Patrick-Hooker.
Okay, and your title?
Director of Agribusiness Development at the Empire State Development Corporation.
So we know that agriculture is the #1 industry in New York State, especially in this area. But in recent years, some farmers have fallen on some hard times. What are you going to be talking about with them today?
Well, really exploring all of the possibilities. And it's interesting, one size doesn't fit all in agriculture. You know, we have a great local food movement here in the southern tier. We also have larger scale commercial dairy farms that are, and dairy is one of those unique products that needs to have something done with it once you make it. So that's going into the great plants we have and then on to the customers here along the eastern seaboard. So, it will cover a huge range, I think.
And some of these farmers too feel in a way that they've been a little bit beaten up by the state for different taxes they have to pay, things like that, that just like some other businesses, they say New York isn't really a friendly place to do agriculture business. What are some of the ways that we can tangibly help these people?
Yeah, well, I think it's absolutely critical. Kenneth Adams and the governor have been talking about this for a long time. I was with our commissioner, Kenneth Adams, last week at a major farm bureau event in the state, and he basically challenged all of them to say, be specific. You're going through your policy development process right now. This business of governing really starts with all new initiatives. In the first of the year, again, we start developing a new budget, new ideas. What is it that is holding you back? Certainly the #1 thing I have heard about as I have asked these questions on behalf of the commissioner and the governor has been, frankly, immigration reform, which is not a state issue. So but having said that, it's a very frustrating issue for farmers. Still, we hear the topics of regulations in general are a concern. And of course, as all of us will be familiar in the southern tier, the wildly fluctuating milk price of the last number of years has driven farmers mad down here. And justifiably so. It's a huge, again, a federal issue, but still a huge issue that the governor will weigh in as the farm bill develops.
I mean, I guess maybe the broader issue is that a lot of farmers are going out of business. I mean, from 2000 to 2010, I think, I'm not sure if the number of dairy farms went down by 80, and then in Chenango County, they're going to be major problems. I mean, we're not just talking about, I guess, some sort of minor problem. These people are losing their livelihoods. I mean, what can really be done to make, I guess you're losing money, so even just to break even to maybe a minor profit, they probably would be happy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, there's an old joke in farm country that says, gee, I'd really like to break even this year, I need the money. I think what it shows is that farmers, and this has been true, and it's borne out in all farm business analysis, is that farmers simply are willing to work for too little returns. It's just too, in general, it's too satisfying in life. It's rewarding. You're working for yourself. And we as a society, I think, overall have taken advantage of that over the years, and farmers are willing to pay themselves just too little. Americans eat cheaper than any other country in the world, by far. And so I think a couple of interesting trends have occurred. You pointed out dairy farm numbers are down, and yet dairy production is not necessarily down. So when a farm family becomes of an age that they want to retire, or they feel it's a difficult way to make a living, a lot of times the good soils on that farm will be rented by another farm, and so that productive capacity of the soil often stays in business. But you're right, the farm numbers are down. Efficiency on farms continues to be up. It's a very relentless treadmill these folks are on. There's another trend, though, and that is smaller farms are growing. And if you look at the ag census, you will see this almost a widening. The commercial farms, whether they're growing apples or cabbage or milk, are getting larger often and more efficient and working in those wholesale channels. And yet the opportunities for direct marketing and community-supported agriculture. Governor Cuomo just rolled out Fresh Connect farmers markets around the state. So there's a whole other emphasis on much more, direct relationships between farmers and consumers, and it's really fun to work on.
So, but I mean, what do you think there are some ideas as far as trying to make farmers more competitive? Is it more or less raising the food prices, or I think the farmers are concerned that there's going to be an outcry by the general public if you start doing that.
Yeah, and we've seen that in time, and you know, in many years I worked in Albany on public policy issues. You come from an upstate or a rural perspective, you talk about raising food prices, and yet when you are a consumer in New York City or downtown Binghamton, and you're on fixed income, that's not a very attractive scenario for you. And so I think what it is, it's rather than talking about raising prices, because at some point you just bring in food from somewhere else. If we were to try to say, you know, we're not Newfoundland here or something, you know, we can't just say prices should be higher. I think what we have to do is look at the cost. We have to look at opportunities. We have to look at, you know, the business environment that we're in. I do not personally read CEO magazine, but I understand we're 49th in CEO confidence out of thank goodness for California, and that's what the governor and that's what the Commissioner of Agriculture and the Commissioner of Empire State Development are working on, is drilling into what are those costs. Are the tax cap that the governor put in and the legislature supported huge this year. These are the kinds of things that have to be reined in to have people be competitive in the future. I think on the milk side, I think there's a tremendous amount that can be improved on the federal level. And we'll just have to see where that whole farm bill discussion goes. It's just getting underway.
What do you hope to accomplish through the roundtable today?
I am always looking for those ideas that have not surfaced. We're trying to pull together ideas. The governor has directed us to go out there and find out what's holding things back. You know, the whole purpose and the whole focus of the administration right now is on job creation. And of course, my part of that is in agriculture and food and in forestry. And so looking for those ideas that people will say, well, I would grow my business, but for this situation over here. So that's really what I'm going to be listening for today.
Are there other roundtables like this scheduled throughout the state, or?
You know, a lot of the roundtables that will occur in the immediate future will actually be on through the regional council, and there will be a lot of opportunities for public input there. And certainly that is the number one way. The governor has said, look, what's going to work for Binghamton is not what's going to work for New York City. So there's a lot of local focus. I'm also here today and going to be looking at farmers market possibilities after the meeting, so I'm kind of doing a couple of things today.
This is a point of clarification on something you were saying just a moment ago, that there's a growth of the small commercial farms, but looking at the independent small farmer, which is throughout New York, who recently have been feeling like they've been squeezed out, caused to leave the state. Is there anything in this roundtable, or is there anything that the governor is looking at to help those independent farmers?
Sure, there have been a lot of and some of these changes occurred this year. We have a program at Empire State Development called the Link Deposit Program, which is for small businesses for us to be able to lower the cost of money borrowed, so reduce the cost of interest. That program was improved just this year based on input from farmers over the course of the winter to say the cap is too low, the time frames are too short, so we changed it. And you know, so it's other things like that I think we have to look at doing, because these are all New York, all independent businesses as it relates to farms. The vast, I mean, there's almost no corporate agriculture in New York. The risks are too high, the rewards are too low. So we are very much aware that people are on a very, very thin margin, and so we're here listening for what we should do next to improve their business economy.
Thank you.
Sure.